Let's cross to the Department of Basic Education spokesperson Elijah Mhlanga. We understand you're at the Dikeledi Primary School. How is the mood there, Mr. Mhlanga? And a very good morning to you.
Good morning, Desiree. Well, the mood is very tense. I mean, the community is starting to gather now at the school. Different organizations are here. The MEC has arrived. The police are here. But the most important thing that we are doing now as a department is to prioritize the learners. We are now providing counseling to them to make sure that they are catered for. Because in the morning when I arrived at about 7, I happened to speak to one of the parents whose child was in the toilet when this incident happened, and she said that her child did not sleep all night, and also another child who was also a witness to this did not sleep as well. They had nightmares, and the other one did not want to come to school because of what they saw yesterday. So the trauma is very clear. The learners are affected negatively by what took place here. So we are prioritizing them, and thereafter we'll then have to take care of our teachers as well, because they too were exposed to this environment where a death occurred within the school premises, which again talks to the whole issue of their own security. But if you look at the school here, the setup is that there are fences, not one but two types of fences. One allows you into the school premises broadly, but then the other fence prevents learners from leaving the classrooms without someone accompanying them. But the circumstances of really what took place here are going to be known when the police brief us in terms of what they found in their investigation.
With the little interaction that you've had this morning, and I totally understand that your emphasis is on making sure in terms of the mental well-being of the people affected, but any sort of detail have you been able to get in terms of what happened?
Well, the school is quite large. It's got a large yard, and it doesn't have any houses immediately around it. There are spaces around it, and there are trees as well. You can understand this is a rural setting where there are large pieces of land which are unoccupied. So anyone could jump through the fence at any time of the night. Even if you were to have security guards, the way the layout of the school is looking like, it seems someone jumped through the fence and made their way into the toilet, because due to the security of the school, you will not be able to come through in the normal course of business, because someone would be able to pick up that you are not supposed to be here. But if you do it in the dead of night, which is the case in this instance, you could probably succeed, as it has happened, unfortunately. So those are some of the things that we are looking at, because there's fencing and there's physical infrastructure which is proper in terms of securing the environment. But again, if someone is hell-bent on achieving something, they will always find a way to get through and undermine the system.
You mentioned, you touched on it several times in our conversation, events such as this one always bring up that conversation about what the department is doing in terms of security and making sure that our learners are safe. What are some of the things that the department has put in place to make sure that learners can go into the school premises with some sort of assurance in terms of their security?
Well, in this school, fortunately, all systems seem to be in place, because, as I said, the perpetrator had to think twice or even 3 times about how to beat the system, because the way it is laid out and what has been put around to protect the school is such that you and I can't just walk into the school and be exposed to learners. You'd have to do something else extraordinary. That's why he resorted to sleeping in the toilet, so that, you know, everyone thinks there's no one. And for you to do that, you'd have to really woken up in the middle of the night to try to jump through the fence to make your way into the school. So even if there was a security guard, or even 2 or even 3, they would still not be able to pick up if anyone has come into the school due to the size of the school and the trees and other structures that are in the school. So it's one of those things that are not straightforward. You know, you see that someone really had a plan that they needed to accomplish, and it seemed they was able to do that, and it took everyone by surprise, because when the teachers and learners came to school, no one thought there was anyone, because even the toilets themselves, in fact, your camera person is here filming the toilets. You'll see that the toilets themselves have butler gates and they lock. So how it happened that the toilets were unlocked, it's something that needs to be investigated. But the school has really gone all out to provide security, not just to the school buildings, but also to the toilets themselves, so that no one else can be able to use them or gain entry into the structure at night.
Elijah, on a day such as this one, take us into the mind of Minister Angie Motshekga, and what are her thoughts as she prepares for this visit today?
Well, she was shocked. She was in Parliament. When we told her about this, she was in Parliament yesterday. She's there again today, but the MEC for Education in the Northwest is here with us. She was shocked. I mean, I remember with the previous incident where the teacher died, I informed her myself. You could see the shock in her face. I mean, you don't expect something like this to happen within school premises. So every time they say violence has occurred and someone has been attacked so violently, it's shocking. You start to ask yourself, what took place? What are the circumstances? What could we have done to prevent this? And then you want to get there and experience it yourself. I mean, even with me, when I was driving here in the morning, I was asking myself a lot of questions. But when I got here and I walked around in the school, I realized that the school has really prioritized security, and not just in terms of people, but also just the physical environment, putting in place barriers that will make it difficult for people to come into the school. So it's one of those things, again, that, you can do so much to try to protect the learners, but there will always be loopholes which a person like this one will find so they can do what they want to do.
Elijah Mhlanga is the national spokesperson for the Department of Basic Education. We're running a poll this morning related to this story, and we're asking you, are violent incidents in schools a reflection of our societal problems? 96% of you agree, and 4% not really convinced. And some of the tweets in relation to that, Kabiso Ntuli says parents and community are no longer hands-on to raise kids. Yes, it's true, we have societal problems. Let's try and look at another one. At Nazim saying we truly have societal problems. This is more than the government now. Hashtag school murder. Shocking story there. Continue to send us your thoughts and your comments.